Hi guys, and welcome back to today's middle game video. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that is connected with rooks, and it's about stealing or just getting that open file. We all know that an open file is very useful because you can use it for penetrations of your rooks or with your queen to the opponent's territory. In a position like this, you can see that white has this open D file and also black has this open D file. And you normally don't want to take the opponent's rook because when he recaptures the rook, he has this open file. And you most probably don't want that, right? You want to control that open file, so this is usually not a good idea. You want to fight for the open file. So you basically want your opponent to take your rook, so when you recapture, you're going to be the king of this file, right? And you have to keep this in your mind. You want to try to make your opponent just exchange the rooks, and so you are going to have the open file. So in this example, how can you do this? Okay, so the best move here is bishop to g5. Just a very good move attacking the rook. And now what is he going to do? If he takes, again you have this open file, and he can't really fight for this file anymore with rook to d8 because this bishop is also attacking this d8 square. So this is really amazing here for white. White is basically just going to play probably rook to d5 and queen to d2 and just control this open file, and he's really going to have a big advantage. But what else can black do? I mean, he can move the rook like he did to d6. But okay, let's see. What can he do? I mean, we're going to take his rook on the next move if he doesn't move it, right? So he has to do something. And okay, he played it to d6. And now what do? You can see that now you want to take this rook, because a couple of moves ago you can see that if you take his rook, he's going to capture it with a rook. And now after bishop to g5, rook to d6, now if you capture the rook, he's going to have to take it with a queen. And now you can play your rook here on d1, getting that file, because he's obviously not going to take your rook with a queen, right? So he has to move it, and you can see that you're the king of this file now. And this is the whole point here. You wanted black to recapture the rook with a queen. So that's why this bishop to g5 it was a very good move. You can see that you're still controlling this d8 square, so black has no chance of getting this file. Sometimes the idea for black in these kinds of positions is to block this bishop by playing something like f6. So after this he can fight for this file. But okay, this is not the case here. White just played rook to d5. And the idea, guys, of course, is to put the queen behind the rook, because it's really stronger to have it like that. So that's why white played rook to d5. And now we can see that this knight here on a5 is doing nothing. So black wanted to activate it, but this really didn't work out. Okay, he played knight to b7, and we can see queen to d2, because you want to have total control of the file. If white had another rook, for example here, this would be even better, because you know, the more control you have over the file, the better it is. So okay, black played c4 here, just trying to do something, maybe going there with the knight, but probably not, because he's leaving some squares here. But okay, he played c4. We can see b5 not allowing black to do anything, and a5 still trying to do something. And now what do you do here? You have the open file, but you're not really using it. So you want to really use it, and you do this by playing the rook to the 7th rank. Like we said in like almost every video about rooks, you want your rooks on the 7th rank because they're the best here. They can take the pawn's attack and everything. Okay, so that was a great move by white here. And we can see that white is attacking this knight, and something like rook to b8 was very bad, because this is really passive, just defending this knight here. I mean, white just plays a3 and black has no play. As you can see, black has no play. What is he going to do? White is just going to win this game because of this open d file here, the control of the file, and the rook on the 7th rank. That's why black is passive, totally passive, defending this knight with a rook, and you know, this is just winning for white. So that's why he tried something else, and um, he just sacrificed the knight. I mean, he took on b4, and white took the knight, and we can see b3, just desperately trying to do something, I think, because this is not really working. And we can see that dark squares here are pretty weak also, and that's why white used it, and he played bishop to h6, and we are starting to see some back rank problems here for black, some checkmating ideas. So this is pretty dangerous now. And okay, black played queen to c6, attacking the rook, and we can see rook to a7. And like we said, this is not a rook sacrifice. I mean, it is, but you know, you can give him a checkmate. So after this, right? So this is not going to work, and black just played rook to c8. We can see rook to d8 back, again threatening this rook to d8 move with checkmate to follow. So we can see queen to f6, and now white took on b3, and we can see that this is just over. Um, White is just a piece up, and black has no counterplay with these pawns here, right? And I mean, white has the file. White just has a piece for nothing. So you know, this is just over. And all of this happened because of white's control over this d file. This was so important in this game. So that's why I always say fight for the open files. I mean, once you get more experience, you will automatically fight for these open files, but if you don't have so much experience for now, just remember, put your rooks on the open files. Okay, so let's look at our second example today. We can see that in this position there is one open file, and this is the C file, and it seems pretty equal, right? Both sides have this open file. But like we said, we want to steal that file from black and make it ours. So now, how do you do this? Take a moment and think about it. Okay, so the move that white found here was actually very good, and I hope you found it. It's bishop to c7. Now, of course, the point is that a move ago, white couldn't really double up the rooks, and this is what of course he wants. He wants to have as many attackers of this file as possible, and he wants to make sure this file is his, but he couldn't really do this, right? He couldn't play something like rook to c2 or rook to c3 because black would just take it, right? So that's why white just blocked this file with a bishop, and now white has time to actually, you know, double up the rooks and then move the bishop out of there, so the file is going to be in white's hands. So this is a really good idea from white, and black actually can't do anything. Okay, right now we can see that this bishop to c7 move also attacks this a5 pawn, but this is of course not the biggest idea of this move, right? And I mean, okay, if you imagine the position like if bishop was there on c6, if this was possible, then black could have played like rook to c7 and rook here and double up. But now, since this bishop is on c7, black can't really do this, right? So this is a very good plan. Okay, now black just took the pawn here on e5, white recaptured, and now b6, he didn't forget about this a5 pawn. And now we can see our plan, of course. Rook to c3, trying to double up with the rooks, take the file, and just try to win the game. We can see that now this f file is open after they exchange these pawns here, but this file is not that important, and there's a simple reason for this, because, I mean, what are you going to do on this file? You can't really penetrate anywhere, because this king is protecting these squares and also the pawns. This file is not that useful like this c file is, right? Because from there you can penetrate wherever you want. But it's really a better file, this c file. So anyway, black tried to fight for that f file. He actually wanted to trade these rooks off, so white can't double up on c file, but of course white didn't do this. He just doubled up on the c file. And now black's rook is of course not doing anything here on this file. Okay, he got to attack this pawn here, but this is not a problem because you can just play g4, attack this rook. And if he plays the g5, then okay, h3, and okay, this rook here is doing nothing, absolutely nothing, and this is just, I mean, lost for black, right? So he doesn't want this, and I mean, he moved his rook to f7 back, and now we can see that white can just move the bishop away, and this file is going to be his because he has two rooks here and black only has one rook. And we can see bishop to d6, and this position should be just winning or just really better for white just because of this open c file. But black actually managed to hold a draw somehow. And okay, I mean, now what is black going to do? If he moves away, then this is of course really bad. This file is all white and he can penetrate whenever he wants to the 7th rank or also to the 8th rank, but probably to the 7th rank. This is just a beautiful position for white. So what else can he do? I mean, he can take the rook, which is probably the best, right? White can recapture, and now white has an advantage because of this open c file. As we said, he can penetrate wherever he wants, and this f file here is not really that important here. The c file is more relevant here in this position. So guys, always fight for these open files, try to steal it from your opponent and just get that advantage. I would really like to see some feedback in the comments, guys. And if you like the video, please share it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.